On.
Can I hear him?
Can you hear
Hello,
me?
Greg. I
Yeah.
can. Yeah, you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful.
Technology, hey?
Wow. This thing called Zoom.
Have you done many?
It's all good. I'm just saying goodbye to my partner. Don't listen at the door. I'm dreadful in interviews. Lovely. Okay.
Have you done
Oh,
many?
anyhow,
Have you
I'm going
done
to put a post-it over my face because I hate looking at my. But I'm far away. I can't even see myself. But I can see you, and that's the most important thing. So I can't see. That's good. I'm good up there. I'm far away. All right. Lovely. How are you, Greg? Good?
Yeah. I'll give you an official introduction, and we'll get started if you like.
Where are you calling from?
I'm in Melbourne. I'm out.
Okay, so we're all both enjoying this yet another lockdown. Lovely.
Yeah. Probably for a little while.
Oh, well. Silly removalists. That's all I can say. I love removalists.
Yeah. Okay. Ron S Peno, welcome to Australian Musician.
Thank you very much, Greg. Lovely to talk with you.
Well, we're talking to you because the Superstitions, your band, is about to release your fourth album. With the album coming out, how do you feel about it? Where does it sit against the other album?
Well, mixed feelings, I guess. A sigh of relief. Much happiness. Very satisfied with the end result. It's a lovely album, and it is album number 4. We've amazed ourselves. We didn't think we'd get to album number 4, really. But it's good that we have, and I think the end result is quite wonderful. And each of the band is very proud of it and love it immensely. And there are only 7 tracks. We tried for an 8th track, but it's one of those tracks where I just couldn't get it. I tried everything melody-wise and vocal-wise and everything to make it work, but I just couldn't work, and it kept reminding me of a Died Pretty song, and it was like I couldn't get it out of my head. And Cam said, how about we just put it on the back burner and we release 7 songs? And there was a toing and froing of, it's only 7 songs though. Most bands have like 10, and there was that sort of conversation. And I think it's nice to release the 7 definite tracks where it's only 7, but there's 7 powerful tracks. Each of the songs are powerful, and there's not a track that I can go, oh, I wish that wasn't on, or we could have left that off or something. It's just 7 definite, gorgeous tracks, and it's about 35 minutes or something. So it's not over. It doesn't outstay its welcome. So you put it on, you play it, you're taken on a journey, this beautiful journey, and then it ends, and then you're left sort of suspended in this wonderful world. The wonderful Superstitions world. So we're very pleased.
Yeah, so you should be. When you first put this band together, what was the vision?
No particular vision, I don't think, Greg. I just met Cam out socially one night here in Melbourne, and was introduced to him, and obviously he knew who I was, through Died Pretty and stuff. And I'd heard of his band Silver Ray, so it was like, we should do something together. I'm not doing anything. I think I was doing something with Kim, the Darling Downs, Kim Salmon, and I think, or maybe that had, anyhow, I wanted to do something else. So get back into the rock scene, because I think with the Darling Downs, I was doing a sort of country thing. So I wanted to do some rock or some other music. So it was another one of those meetings late at night, and you sort of forget about it the next day. And then you get a call, and it's like, hey, let's get together. So it went from there. I said, come over to my place. I've got lots of things and melodies and that on this. I think we used to call them dictaphones. I don't think you can get them anymore. But I had all these things on melodies and little vocal things. So one thing led to another, and then I went over to his place, and we were doing some demoing of songs and then forming them and toing and froing as you do with songs, and throwing ideas in and stuff, and gradually forming songs for the first album. So it just went from there, and then we started playing, and so there was no great vision. It was just wanting to sort of, I guess, maybe I missed Died Pretty and playing with Died Pretty, so I needed a band thing maybe. So because in the Darling Downs there was just Kim and I, so maybe I wanted to get back to a band thing. And I love collaborating with people. So, collaborating with somebody different, and we both had the same sort of ideas, that sort of like lots of 60s sort of stuff, influences like Scott Walker and the Walker Brothers and things like that. So we just sort of, yeah, that's how it sort of started, and we just continued on, and then started playing. And found that it was fun playing, and obviously it's a wonderful band. We have Tim and Andy on bass and Mark on drums. So they all came from different sort of areas and bands and stuff, and we all sort of got on well, and we continue to get on well. And so it's a 5-member thing, but we all contribute musically. And even though my name's stuck out the front, I did try can we just try the somethings? Don't put my name there. But I was outvoted that, it should be Ron S Peno and the Superstitions. I was like, no, can we just have the Superstitions? You don't want my old name there. But, it's fine. You learn to live with it.
Yeah. I have to ask you, how's your health? Because there was a period there over the last couple of years where everyone was very worried about you.
Yes, yeah. Well, I went, I was, visited by the C word, and in 2019. So we started work on this album about the beginning of 2018. I think we started to form ideas and song ideas, and maybe at the end of 2017 even. It's been quite a long process, quite sort of at times quite drawn out, where we would start on it and then stop, and we had to stop in the start of 2019 because, as I said, I got visited by the C word, which was I had esophageal cancer. I was diagnosed with esophageal cancer in early 2019. So things had to stop immediately, including my drinking and smoking. So that's been for like 3 years now, which is, I should have done it 40 years ago. But anyhow, it'll take cancer to make you stop drinking and smoking. But so most of 2019 was lots of visits to hospitals, lots of radiotherapy, lots of the other chemotherapy, lots of visits to St Vincent's Hospital here in Melbourne. So to the wonderful doctors and everything, the hospital people, wonderful. So lots of scans. They finally operated in the middle of 2019 and got it out. Removed it and sort of got the cancer out the esophagus, and so that was just lots of and I had lots of support, etc. throughout 2019. So that put a stop on the any recording or any. So it gave me time to sort of wrestle up some. Well, I had demos of the songs for the album, so it gave me time to sort of think of lyrics and song titles and album titles and album designs and stuff like that. So nothing sort of stopped for, and it was a 6.5-hour operation to get this thing out. And so I just kept writing, and and then it was like, all systems ahead, it's all gone, and it's gone. And then 2020 happened. It was like, oh God, another C word. So as editor, so it was COVID this time. So it's like, so it put the brakes on again for 2020 for us to do anything. So it's been since 2018. So with the cancer, unfortunately, it has come back, which I didn't tell anyone, but yeah, so we're just dealing with that at the moment. So
Yeah.
it's in the lap of the gods, as I would say, I guess.
We wish you all the best with that. And
Thank you. Yeah, we've just got to keep. I've got to keep doing the right thing, and just yeah, it'll be a 3 monthly sort of checkup to see if it's basically yeah, it's spread to the brain. So
yeah,
we're
because
just taking care of it at the moment. It's nothing sort of too at this point, nothing too dramatic, but yeah. So we'll just do the right thing, and yeah,
yeah,
but maybe not put that in the interview. I'm just telling you, I've overtold you things, so maybe not. Let's talk about music. So, but that yeah. So
so because you've been living a healthier life, I
yeah,
believe your voice has changed perhaps somewhat. How have
it
you
certainly has.
how have you utilized? How have you approached your vocals in the studio? Have you been more adventurous?
Well, yeah, well, because I've got given these filthy habits away, it's improved. Touch wood. My vocal has changed, and for the better. It's become a lot stronger. Um, and with the whole cancer thing, I did the right thing, and it could have been a much tragic sort of story had I not done the right thing. But been doing the right thing for the last couple of years. So yeah, my voice became stronger. I did all of the vocals. Just Cam and I did the uh, vocals at his place. Actually, we did the we did the drums and bass, the rhythm tracks we did in the studio uh, at our friend's Sound Park studio
Yep.
here in Melbourne, and in 2018, I think they were done. So we had those, but I did a lot of the vocals sort of towards the end of 2019 or 2020. I did a lot, not 2019, 2020 I started doing the vocals when we were in and out of lockdowns, these things called lockdowns, and all these new words entered our lives in 2020 that we're now still living with. And so when I had the chance to go to Cam's, I'd go over there, was taken over there, and it was just him and I, and we'd do the vocals, lots of the vocals, just him and I. And then I concentrated a lot on the vocals this time, because in the past I've been very nonchalant about the vocals, and that sort of that'll do attitude. Oh, that's fine. I don't need to do it again. This time I was actually changing lyrics, changing the way I sang things, changing words that I'd hear back on one of the vocal takes and go, ew, that doesn't sound good. I'll change these lyrics and stuff to something else. So I was actually taking a lot more interest in the actual vocals, because everything, the music and everything, the rhythm tracks and that, all were superb, because they're wonderful guys to work with. They're incredible musicians that know their stuff. So they get it done very quickly. So I needed to step up and make sure that my vocals were just on the same level as the music happening around me, that I wasn't going like, well, put the vocals back in the mix, no, put them out and proud, and I think the end result speaks for itself. Actually, it's a lovely record, and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, it's called "Do the Understanding." Can you explain the album title?
Again, another when I was getting ready for operations and doing scans on my body and stuff for the cancer. I was just sitting on the lounge, and it just came to me, something I don't know. It just came to me. Do the Understanding. I went, that's the album title. I'll call it "Do the Understanding," and I kind of associate it with I can't understand, because other people had cancer and they were dying and stuff, and it was there were much more difficult circumstances than mine, and much more life or death circumstances that I couldn't understand. And so I sort of was going, well, I can't understand it. You do the understanding. So it was sort of like that I sort of came about. But the actual phrase just came to me, do the understanding. And And I thought maybe we could even make a dance out of it, you know. Come on, everybody, do the understanding. So we may have a dance out of it also.
So
Yeah.
what was the process of bringing these song ideas to the band? What was the brief to the band when you played the songs to them?
Oh, okay, here we're back.
Okay, we froze.
Oh, Panic in Detroit, Action Strasse. Okay, I don't know anything about computers, Greg, so...
Okay, I'm sure that wasn't your fault.
I freak out. I'm a 70s man.
I will...
I can just handle a mobile phone. I was kicking and screaming to get a mobile phone.
Yeah.
I was dragged, kicking and screaming. You know, I still have a landline at my apartment in South Yarra. So
yeah. I will.
Friends are going, get rid of it. It's cost me. No, I just like to have it there. It's just nice.
Yeah.
I'm old school.
I will ask that last question.
Yep. And so it basically starts with Cam and his song.
Sorry, Ron. I'll start right from the beginning so we can edit.
Yep.
Okay. What was the process of bringing your song ideas to the band? What was the brief to them?
No brief, really. The actual process starts with Cam and his music. So Cam will have a set of ideas, musical ideas, that will eventually become songs. So he'll say, I've got, 6, 7, 8 musical ideas here. Let's get together and we'll sort them out. We'll put in verses, choruses, melodies. Let's think up melodies. He will play me something. He will play me a verse and chorus or a piece of music. I'll say, that's lovely. Or, let's work on that. Let's do something with that. He will play it again, maybe a couple of times till I get some sort of melody going for a lead vocal. So I'll get a vocal for I'll get a melody for a main vocal. He will keep playing it until I go into something that will be a chorus or a middle eight or something. Slowly it'll be constructed over a period of time. Some songs will take, I don't know, sometimes it'll take 10 or 15 minutes. Like I think The Strangest Feeling on the album, it was from an old song that we'd had on the back burner called Forever or something. It was called Forgive Me, I think it was called. And we used to do it in the early days of the Superstitions. And I never liked the melody I sang to it. Everything else was fine. The band were wonderful. The music was wonderful. It was a piece of music, but the melody that I brought to it, it used to shit me, basically. It used to irritate me. And so I was never happy with the song. So, I'd say to Kev, can we just leave that out of the set? I don't like performing. I'm not happy with the melody. So, fast forward, 6 or 8, 7 years or something, and we revisited it. And immediately that song took about 10 minutes. I came up with this rambling sort of melody that we both went, this is fantastic. So it went from being one song to a totally different song melody-wise. So I called it The Strangest Feeling. So it's just basically starts with Cam's musical ideas. Then we'll present them with the band. He will present them with the band with a rough vocal and a rough sort of sketch of the song, melody, verse, chorus, whatever, chorus, and they will do their thing. Basically, they don't need to be. It's quite a magical band. They can just do their thing. They hear it once, they do it. We rehearse once. They're this sort of band. We rehearse once. That's it. We go out and do a show. It's quite wonderful. So it all starts with Cam and then myself, and then Cam and I'll get together. Then we'll present it to the band. Yeah. So that's how the songs basically start. Cam's musical ideas.
Yeah, the opening track, When Worlds Collide, has the Superstitions' signature atmospheric grandeur thing about it, but underneath there's almost...
That's a real Cam song. It's a real Cam song of old, like from the
but
other
underneath there's like a Ronettes, Phil Spector vibe.
You tried to avoid that because that's what I got too, and I said I want to get away from that 50s sort of boom, 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 So I tried to give it a Roxy Music approach, I tried to give it a rock music, Brian Ferry sort of touch.
Yeah.
You know, come on, she say.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
that's
it's very subtle, but you weren't into those 60s.
Oh, yeah. I just didn't want to be obvious, though. That's all. You know, it is, but you know, we tried to sort of get away from that.
Yeah.
But it's what it is. It's a great song, and you know, it's the other, compared to the other tracks, it's a standout. You know what I mean? It's different to the other tracks. The
Yeah.
other tracks are a bit more electronic and, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This is a real old school sort of song, I think.
The track Love Light is musically quite sparse, but there's a lot of feeling in it. When you wrote that song, were you hearing the way it came out?
Yeah, just a very beautiful, very fragile sort of song. So I gave it a really fragile melody and fragile sort of lyrics, just romantic sort of lyrics, you know, about two people. But you know, I don't sort of dwell on lyrics and stuff. They just come out, you know. I've never referred to myself as a lyricist, even though people say it's a good lyric. I'm not a lyricist, so they just come out, and I will pick lines that come out and write them down. And I will just it'll go through a a process of picking and choosing various lines. And like Love Light was like that. All the songs are like that, actually. I just which with the cancer and the COVID and that gave me plenty of time to do the lyrics. I had plenty of time to and something like uh, When Worlds Collide. That was the most challenging, that song for me lyrically, because I had to get some sort of, because I'm an old school songwriter, so I'm old school as in great melody for a verse and a chorus. You got to have that big chorus. You know, there's nothing like a great chorus in a song. So I tried to do that with When Worlds Collide. So it took me ages to sort of grab onto something, and I came up with "Don't make this all out all mine. Don't make this don't make this under." So that was the sort of kind of a chorusy thing that I kept going back to. But that took a long time, and I kept throwing lines out and going, "No, that sounds crap." And the Love Light was a little simpler. It's a very simple, just a very simple little. I call it sort of an interlude on the album. You know,
Yeah.
let's do ourselves tonight in, let's in faraway glances. It's about a couple meeting out, or from across the room, that old sort of thing. You know, because the music is the music for that song is very romantic and very fragile. It's just reminded me of two people just seeing each other or something, from across a room or something, or just passing, or something cliched like that. But it was very nice to write for.
Yeah.
And it only goes for a minute and a half or so, so it wasn't overly taxing.
I noticed with the Superstitions music, although there's a lot going on, there's always a good amount of space for you to sing through. How important a tool is space in music for you?
It's very important. The Superstitions are one of the, because we'll take these songs that we've done, and they'll be different again when we perform them live. There's going to be a hell of a lot of space there, or there's going to be space there when I've told the guys that these songs are going to be different to what we recorded for the album. They're going to be different versions of the album. There's going to be a hell of a lot of space for in these new songs, and there has been in the past songs, where we're a jammy sort of band. You know what I mean? We love to and that's why Cam and I formed the duo thing, to enable us to get another side of the Superstition song, so we could go out as a duo and Cam has his loops and pedals and stuff, and I just do the vocal, and it's a very loose, free form, jazzy, almost jazzy sort of thing when the two of us get together. So the Superstitions have allowed us to do that as a duo, so that we've always got that, and we will do that with these new songs as a duo, and with these new songs, as with the older songs, they will change again in a live atmosphere. So they'll be extended. there'll be different melodies. I will think of something, a different melody, end the song that may go for another 5 minutes. You know what I mean? I think one of the songs already does that. I've forgotten it now. I've forgotten the name of it. How embarrassing. But we that goes for an extra, 5 or 6 minutes, where it just builds and builds and builds and builds until we're ready to sort of stop, until we take the audience on. I like taking the audiences on a journey, basically, as cliched as that sounds. But it's very important to have a lot of heart and soul in the music. There's so much crap music around these days that we've always maintained, Cam and I have always maintained, got to have lots of heart and soul in the songs. Otherwise, it's very fake. And it's just like, that's crap. You've got to have heart and you've got to really mean it. So when we go out there live, it's just got to come from the heart. And we've got to play with a lot of heart and soul and a lot of passion and just go out there, and just take people on a journey. As I said, as cliched as that sounds, we like doing that, where you touch people emotionally, where you take them to the highest point you can and just leave them hanging there, and just totally exhausted, just with emotion, not from dancing, even though they can dance, but just with emotionally. That's a very difficult thing to do, I think.
Yeah.
We want to do that, so it's a very passionate thing.
Yeah. Is there a track on the album which is closer to your heart than the others?
No, I like them all equally, actually. I think It's Gonna Rain, the end of the last track on the album. I did the track listing for the album, and I wanted that for the last song. So you're just taken again on this journey at the end, and just left hanging there, just sort of drained and just. So that's a very beautiful song. I think It's Gonna Rain. But then I saw Randy Newman had a song years ago called I Think It's Gonna Rain Today. It's like, oh, damn it. Which is a very famous song. Kim Sim was telling me about Randy Newman a couple of weeks ago. I didn't think Kim was a Randy Newman fan, but I don't know much about him, actually. I know that's probably horrible, but maybe I should start listening to him. But no, I think the album as a whole, it's a whole. It's just a little journey for like 35 minutes or something. Mm. So there's no one. I kind of like The Strangest Feeling. That's sort of a wacky, sort of weird. That's the rest of the album is sort of romantic, or sort of very emotional. That track isn't. That's one of the weird tracks that I came up with this vocal in about 10 minutes. That's the song that was an old song that we had for 7 or 8 years or something, or for a long time, that Cam and I had had on the back burner, that we now called The Strangest Feeling. And I just came up with this Bowie-esque kind of, what I thought was a Bowie-esque kind of vocal and melody for this song. And it was just immediate. We both loved it. But that was sort of not, that was written kind of loosely on a story from the 70s, from I think about 1975 or something, about this guy that was flying from, I think, Melbourne across Bass Strait to King Island. Oh, I've forgotten his name now, because I was going to almost call the song after him. Frederick Valentich. Frederick Valentich was a pilot. And it was just a really quirky little story that's always stayed with me, about him flying across, and he was seeing lights and stuff outside his plane, and it's basically a UFO story. He's never been heard of since 1975, so we don't know what happened in Bass Strait there, flying from King Island back to Melbourne. He just was going, is anyone out? I had these lights near my plane. Do you guys have another plane up here? And they go, no. And all of a sudden it was like, and he was never heard of again. So that's basically what I lyrically was about. Yeah. Colored it a bit more with, alien beings and stuff and silliness. The rest of the album's quite lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's a bit of a fun song, that one.
yeah, was the track order important?
Yes, yeah, definitely. This time for me, as I said, I put a lot into to actually, which it's taken such a long time, and hindsight's a wonderful thing. It's taken for me to actually go, to listen to things like track listings, my actual vocal performance, instead of shrugging it off and going, that'll do, or whatever, and having other people decide for me because I was too lazy or I wanted to go and have a drink or something, or, and wouldn't get, I just wanted to perform. So listening to the track, we had a couple of track listings, and I listened to one and just knew it wasn't it. I was given a track listing, and yeah, I just went, no, this is not the right track listing. And so I went and I made the track listing myself. I rearranged it. It was decided we end the album with "I Think It's Gonna Rain," and yeah. So just in an emotion in that, just going on a journey, even though it's only 7 songs, going on a small journey, and then just being held in the, like, suspended right at the end of the album, like, what was that just happened, sort of thing. What happened in the last 35 minutes? So yeah, track listing is very important. I didn't think it was, but it is. It's really important.
Yeah. Prior to lockdown, had you been rehearsing the songs to play live?
We've played the songs off and on over the last couple of years, actually. When we get to play live, we will throw a couple of ones, and they're a bit raggedy. They started off raggedy because the album hadn't been. We will rehearse. Hopefully, the launch is in September, so hopefully we've got rehearsals for October, August. We have rehearsals for the band for the launch in September, on September the 4th, in the Brunswick Club here in Melbourne. And then we will have another one in October, I think. It's a north and south thing. So we'll have another launch at the Mimo in October. So we'll rehearse. But we have been playing the songs off and on in various form for the last year or couple of years, or whenever we get to play. In these strange times, it's difficult to know when, we're still going to have a launch in September. You can't plan too far ahead. Cam and I were supposed to play last weekend at the George in Fitzroy Street in St Kilda. I think it's the old CV ballroom. They call it the George. We've been booked to play there since I had this operation in the back of my head here to remove one of these lesions on my brain in April. And of course, we couldn't do that, so we put it to the 17th of July, the duo to play at the George. And we were so looking forward. We rehearsed last week or the week before, and I went to see a movie last Thursday or the Thursday before, whenever lockdown happened. I went to see the Sparks Brothers, that wonderful documentary on Sparks. Fantastic. I highly recommend it. It's a great doco. And I came out of that, and it was like you're in lockdown again. And then Cam rang and said, by the way, the 17th of July has been cancelled or postponed until September. Ah, God. So we don't know. It's in the lap of the gods.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we do know.
Just have to coast along, look after each other, and
we do know that the album "Do the Understanding" will be out on July 26th.
My birthday.
Happy birthday for the day.
Out on my birthday. We thought that was it's my gift to everyone.
Ron S Peno, it's been great to chat. Thanks for joining us.
Lovely chatting with you, Greg. Take care. Look after yourself. All right.